Hello and welcome to another episode of Alex's Nifty Top 50, where we count down from 40 down to 31. This is episode 2, video 2 in the Alex on Board Games series, and we are going to count down 40 down to 31 of my top games of all time. As usual, please remember, this list is just my own personal thoughts. You might agree or disagree, who knows? If a game isn't on there, I might not have played it, or I might not like it, who knows? But I love making these lists and I love playing board games. So let's go with Alex's Nifty Top 50. This is number 40. And we are on an absolute classic of this industry, Carcassonne. 2000, year 2000, such an old game in board gaming, kind of like world. Absolute classic tile placement and then worker placement game. You build up with the other people, everyone together builds up Carcassonne, builds up the city, the town, the villages, the castles, and the fields and the farms of Carcassonne. And every time you lay a tile, you may place a worker on it. That worker may be on the road as a robber. That worker may you lie it down. It'd be a farmer for the fields. It may be a knight in the city. If you have certain special cards, special tiles like the monastery, it may be a monk. There are various things it can be. And with lots and lots of different expansions, it allows you to place different things. But even in the base game of Carcassonne, there are so many different things you can be doing here. Every time you lay a tile, you place a worker. And then you only got a certain number of workers. So you need to be placing them so you can get them back. If a road is completed, you get your robber back. If a city is completed, you get your knight back and you get points for completing those things. Farmers, once you lay those, they are farmers for the rest of the game and they don't score till the end. But they are so powerful. Learning and trying to work out where to play your farmers is such an important part of this game. But you don't want to run out of workers. You don't want to be in a situation where nothing's coming back and you've got your farmers out and you can't complete anything. And if the other person puts certain tiles next to your things to make it very hard for you to get them back, it's a really challenging game. I think this game works really well as a two-player where you're really battling against one person, but it can be a bit hateful at two-player because you can really screw people over. Whereas at 3 and 4 player, maybe it's a bit nicer as a game, but there's more competition for spaces, especially for farmers at that level as well. Absolutely brilliant tile placing, brilliant original game. One of the ones that kind of like brought a lot of people into the hobby. And so yes, all the time in the world for Carcassonne. Now, number 39. This game, Cash and Guns. I don't hear many people talking about Cash and Guns at all. This is a really fun game when you're not wanting anything heavy. This is a group of people, the more the merrier. Like I like playing this with 6, 7 or 8 people, where you all sit around a table, you all get given a foam gun and you rob a bank or similar. You rob somewhere and you lay out the loot, but you're all saying, yes, we're all in this together. And then you lay out the loot and you all turn on each other to try and shoot each other to try and steal the loot for yourselves. That is the basic premise of Cash and Guns. And there's so many different cards. You've got these little bang and click cards, which you can see in the picture right now. And you point at someone and they don't know whether you've put an actual bullet in your gun or whether you've put a fake one in your gun. But do they, if you're pointing at them, do they run away so they don't get shot so they can carry on into future rounds and not get any harm? Or do they think, I don't think he's actually going to shoot me here. He's only got a pretend bullet and therefore they get away with it. So you're risking and judging whether you think you're going to get shot or not to whether you're going to get the loot. Whoever gets the most diamonds gets an extra special diamond at the end. Every time you collect an artwork, it increases in how much you get for those artworks. So 1 is worth 4,000, but 2 are suddenly worth 10,000 each. And so it really just increases how they work. A brilliant game, Cash and Guns. It's just, it's one of those games where you can be losing and people will just point a gun at you and you're like, whoa, I ain't winning here. Why are you pointing a gun at me? Oh, you can lose friends and girlfriends over Cash and Guns. But I like playing it. So that is Cash and Guns, and that was my number 39. I absolutely think it's brilliant. Now, number 38, much simpler game, Next Station Tokyo. It's a 4-player game, at maximum of 4 players, where you are building up your stations in the Tokyo underground. There are other versions. There's Next Station London and Next Station Paris. I've not played the other versions. I've only played the Tokyo version, but I really like it as a simple system. Everyone's playing the same cards, but you're all starting on a different route, a different colour. Every time a type of station gets turned over and maybe a different route you can take, you then draw on your little grid an underground route. But at the end of the game, you get points for how well you've drawn your underground route, which sounds completely dull, but it's actually, I really enjoy doing it. It's like a little puzzle. How can you get your blue route and your pink route and your green route interacting so they meet in certain places, which means you get extra points for allowing tourists to get out of the city further away and change lines? Can you get all the way into the corners? Can you make sure none of the in the middle circle line only has one station, because you lose points if you don't have the really good connectivity in the middle? You get points not only for how many stations you've got in sections, but also how many sections you get to, and trying to work out how much to go outwards and how much to stay in one area. And you get points for how many stations you have with different lines coming off. Loads to be thinking about on what is actually a really simple game. Very quick to teach, which is why I like to take it to family events and family nights, because it's just right, this is how you do it. Everyone just goes, you get a colour each and you can start. Next station, Tokyo. I think it's a great game. I'm a big fan. Now, the next game is an injury causing game. Number 37 is the game that has drawn the most blood in real bloodlines in the games that I've played, and that is Taco, Cat, Goat, Cheese, Pizza. All you got to do in this game is remember the order of these words: taco, cat, goat, cheese, pizza. Taco, cat, goat, cheese, pizza. I think I said gat instead of cat. I can't even do it. You turn over one and you say taco, cat, goat, cheese, pizza, and if the words you say match the animal that you put down, the card that you put down, everyone has to slam their hands on the cards, snap style. But it's not the first person gets them, it's the opposite. It's the last person gets them. So even if other people have done it, there's often someone hasn't noticed, and you're like, oh, I didn't notice, but he hasn't noticed, and you slam your hand down. And that slamming the hand down, it causes injuries, but it's absolutely hilarious. And then there are the special cards, like the narwhal or the groundhog. If you get a groundhog, you've got to beat the table and then do it. If you get the narwhal, you've got to give yourself a fin and then do it. There's nothing serious about this game. It comes in a really little box. It's great for just light relief, fun, when you'll want to play a quick, silly game, especially with young people who think it's hilarious. My brother Ricky was actually in tears. We were playing this game and he was crying in tears of laughter and of silliness because he couldn't remember the actions. He couldn't do the right things. You've just got to get into it. It's one of those games, if you're all into it and you're up for it, it's brilliant. If people are a bit, I'm not sure, no, you've got to get into it. But if everyone's doing it, it's a great fun game. That is number 37. Taco, cat, goat, cheese, pizza. I taught it to a bunch of kids at school and they really liked it too. Number 36 is a two-player game. One of my favourite two-player only games, and this is Lost Cities, 1999, by the good Dr. Rainer Knizia. Lost Cities, you have to go on 5, or in the new version, there is a 6th expedition that is possible. 2, you have cards, and you've got to have ascending numbers on your cards as you go in this expedition. So every time you've got to look at your hand. Am I going to play into one of my expeditions? Am I going to discard a card entirely? And you've got to choose what you're doing, and then you're drawing. Do you want to draw from the discard piles or draw from the blind pile? Once you've put an 8 of blue down, then if you then get a 6 or a 7 of blue, you can't put that down because it has to be in ascending order. So how long do you hold on to cards that will score you good points versus when do you just lay them to get on with the game and move forwards? If you get less than 20 points, you start getting negative points. If you're really confident of a colour, you can put a little handshake symbol down, or 2, or 3, and that doubles or triples or quadruples your score. But if you don't get up to 20 points, it doubles, triples, or quadruples your minus score. And it costs you 20 points just to start any expedition. So you've got to get to 20 points before you even score any points. And so you really got to work out which ones you're going to go for and which ones you're not. And it's a great moment when the opponent puts down a card, which means that you can get rid of a card out of your hand because you know this card will be great for them. And they play a card, you're like, yes, now I can discard that because you can't use it anymore. And no, really great game. 2 players, Lost Cities, nice and easy to teach, really fun to play. One of the best 2-player games around. So that is Lost Cities by Rainer Knizia. Really great game. And that is my number 36. So we move on to number 35. Now this game, no one talks about. I've never heard anything about it on any YouTube channel whatsoever, and that is Guillotine. 1998, Paul Pedersen in this game. This is a game I've taught to various members of my family and my friends absolutely loads, and it never fails. I've never heard anyone not enjoy playing guillotine. It's a little bit gruesome. You are French revolutionaries, and your job is to knock the heads off of the royalty and the nobilities. You are revolutionising France. And on your turn, it couldn't be more simple. You've got some action cards, and there's a lineup in the middle of royalty, maybe King Louis, maybe police guards and people like this. On your turn, you can or cannot, if you choose, play a card. So that's the first decision. Do I want to play a card or not? Okay? And then whether you play a card or not, you take the noble from next to the guillotine and you kill that noble. And it goes into your score pile and you score that number of points. That is it. And that is your entire turn. But the cards you've got can manipulate the line. So it might be a card that says, move a red forward 3, move a green, rearrange the first 5 nobles, add more nobles to the end of the line. Whatever it is, so you've got these cards that can rearrange things. You play a card to rearrange it so you can take the best noble that you want to take. Or your card might say, for every red noble in front of you, get extra points. Or plus 2 points for this person, or minus 2 points for this person. You can give a card to someone else to lose them points. So you're constantly trying to work out which noble do I want to take from the line and which cards have I got that can allow me to get to that noble, and then how many have other people got. All the nobles do something different. Some nobles, if you get 2 matching ones, they get bonus points. Some nobles, it's like 1 point for 1, but 4 points for 2, 9 points for 3. They're the palace guards. And so you got to work out how it's almost like set collection, because some nobles work better with others. It's a really beautiful game. It doesn't take very long. It's never spoken about, but it's my number 35, and that is Guillotine. So we move on to my number 34, which I know a lot of people talk about, and it's a game that people keep saying, this game is no longer the best in this genre, but it never seems to go away, and that is Splendor. The amount of times I hear people saying, it's a Splendor killer. At last, a game has come out that does Splendor better than Splendor. But people keep playing Splendor, and why would they not? Because I think it's an absolutely brilliant game. In Splendor, you are collecting gems. It's a set collection game. You are collecting gems, and you either collect the cards by paying for them, which gives you long-term gems in your engine building, or you're collecting them as one-offs to use. And if you collect the right ones in the right order, you might get nobles. It's a race to 15 points. It's one of those games, again, they're great to play with the family, really simple rules. First to 15 points, then everyone gets the same number of turns, and boom, you are done. At the beginning of the game, you collect the simple ones, the ones that don't cost very much, but they also don't win you any points. And then as your engine gets a bit better, you can start collecting the middle row, which get you a few more points. And then as your engine gets really good, you might start collecting a couple from the top row, which is where your big points come from. And if you collect the right ones, you might also get a noble, which is worth a bonus 3 points. I love this game. I love the way some colours work better together than other colours. If you're just going haphazard, I'll have a green, I'll have a red, I'll have a black, whatever. You don't get as far. Whereas if you're like, you know what, I can see a route where I can really concentrate on the whites and the blues, and that just concentrating on those is going to get me through this route to try and get these cards. And I don't want anyone else to take that card, so I'm going to take it, which gets me a yellow, which is a universal one, and no one else can steal that card, and I can buy it later on. And when you start to work out the colour wheel and how that kind of works, I find the tactics in this game kind of like really go through and improve, and it's a really beautiful one. I really like Splendor. Great game, great family game. Highly recommended by me, and that is my number 34. Which leads me, obviously, to number 33, which is a new game, a game I've not played very much, and I think it's a game that's going to go up on my list next year. I'll be surprised if this game isn't higher, and that is a game I played at Aircon for the first time last year, which is Courtesans. I have since bought it and enjoyed it and been playing it with my friends and my family. Now, Courtesans, the reason I like it is because it's so simple, yet there's enough in there to make you think. Doesn't work so well at 2 players. I think you might not be able to play it at 2 players, but certainly at 3 players, 4 players and 5 players, I really like it at those levels. On your turn, you pick up 3 cards. And on your 3 cards, you keep one, you put one at the table in the middle, and you give one to an opponent. And that is it. And that is the entire game. You take 3 cards, keep one, give one, put one in the middle. When you put them in the middle, you put them above or below the Queen's table. They are members of 6 possible families. And if you put it above the table, you're saying that family is in favour of the Queen, and the Queen favours that family. If you put it below, that family has fallen out of grace. And by the end of the game, families out of grace lose you points for all of that family in your own tableau. And families in favour gain you points for all the families in that tableau. But some of these guys are spies, and they get placed upside down, so no one knows what family they're from, so you've got to try and work out probability what you're going to be doing. Some are assassins, and if you put an assassin somewhere, you can kill another card from that area, which changes the balance or changes someone else's score pile. Some are guards that can never be assassinated. Some are worth 2, some are like double cards, so they're worth 2 to something, which can really increase its power. And some are just normal people. So as this game goes through, watching the different people's tableaus as well as the central tableau build, and then so you can see who's in favour and who isn't. Plus you've got your own final scoring objectives, which gets you 3 points if they succeed, and you've got 2 of them, and they are wanting a certain family to be out of favour, or wanting a certain number of out of favour cards in a certain place. So people don't realise that you're actually aiming for certain things. I would like more of a certain family than the person to my left. And so there's, these secret objectives make it, why someone might think that's a bad card for him to play, but you might be playing it for a different kind of reason. There's a lot going on in Courtesan, all based on take 3 cards, keep one, give one, put one in the middle. Simple, but loads of little decisions. I'm a big fan of Courtesans. 2024, new game, really good, buy it. That is number 33. Now, number 32 then. I've not played 32 in a while. The fact that it stayed on my top 50 list, even though I've not played it in a while, says something about this game. This is villainous, and specifically for me, Disney villainous. So many games you play the hero and you try and win. Disney villainous takes it in the exact opposite direction. You are the baddie. You play the villain. You play King John. You play Jafar. You play Maleficent. You play the Queen of Hearts. And your job is to try and win your evil dream. Are you Captain Hook and your job is to capture Peter Pan? Or your job is to get the lamp if you're Jafar. In Ursula, your job is to get enough contracts so you can make sure you never give the voice back to Ariel. You are the evil one trying to do this. But everyone else, they're at the same time as trying to get their objectives, massively asymmetric game. They're all doing their own objectives because we're all different villains. But you can also throw heroes at opposing villains. If you think a particular villain is doing very well, you can play a hero against them. So, Peter Pan or the Lost Boys turn up to try and stop Captain Hook, or Triton turns up to try and stop Ursula. So the heroes of those stories turn up to try and stop them, and you've then got to counteract those heroes as well as trying to go through your deck to try and find the cards to complete your objective at the same time. Really great. I like being the villain and evil. I find that a really fun mechanism. I love the little models you get to move around. You can see them in the picture. I think they're just really nice and fun to hold. I like the way they move around the board. On your board, you've got 4 locations. So you have to go to different locations to be able to do different activities and different effects. But you can't stay on one, so you're constantly moving. Other people can play cards that block certain things, so you've got to unblock them to then be able to use them. There's a load of really nice things in Disney Villainous, and you might not know much about me yet, but I do love me some Disney. Musical theatre is my second passion, with board games. Board games and musical theatre are my things. I love Disney, and therefore Disney Villainous is always going to be a game that makes me happy. And quite frankly, talking about it with you guys is making me put it back to the table. Must play Disney Villainous again. Right, 32 done, and which means we just have 1 more game left of this next 10. And that game is an absolute classic, a gateway game. If you have a new group to board games, or you want to say this is what board games can be like, but they're not going to go in massively heavy, this is phenomenal. It is Ticket to Ride. My favourite version of Ticket to Ride is Ticket to Ride Europe, which is the one you're seeing the pictures of. In Ticket to Ride, your job is simply to build train routes from station A to station B, or city A to city B. At the beginning of the game, you draw routes that you've got to try and connect. Everyone has their own routes they're trying to connect. You get points for connecting your routes, and you also get points for individual routes that you put down, the bigger they are, the better. So on your turn, you have a choice. You either take train cards, which are different colours, to collect train cards in groups, or you are laying trains. There might be a route that you need 5 red train cards to connect a route. So you're trying to find them. Sometimes red ones don't come up, but there are these special multicoloured ones. But you can only take them one at a time, but they can be used. And if you go to the Europe version, you sometimes have to dig through the Alps or dig through the mountains, which means that as soon as you try and build it, more cards get turned over, which might mean you need more cards to actually achieve it, which is a really great mechanism. But if you can do that with the long ones, you get so many points. I've seen people win this game ignoring their routes and just building amazing routes around the board without even theirs. I've seen people win their game by getting so many cards and making amazing routes and journeys. Lots of different ways to win, lots of different ways to play. Europe has a mechanism to make it less nasty because you can't block people off as much because you can build stations, which allows you to use someone else's journey just to link up some of your stations. So it kind of like stops it being quite so nasty as well, which I really like in the Europe version. So number 31 is Ticket to Ride. I especially like Ticket to Ride Europe. And that is 40 to 31 in Alex's Nifty Top 50. Love these games. We have had, I always do a quick recap at the end here, we have had Carcassonne, Cash and Guns, Next Station Tokyo, Taco Cat Goat Cheese Pizza, Lost Cities, Guillotine, Splendor, Courtesans, Villainous, and Ticket to Ride. 10 wonderful games. Do you like these games? If you like these games, let me know in the comments to say, yes, are there games on here that you've played? Are there special favourites in here that you've got? If you've got a top 50, what is your numbers 40 to 31? Please do let me know because I'd love to read the comments and see what other people are doing and playing. I need to go and play some of these games that I've not played in a while, but I absolutely love them. Please, if you're enjoying my content or you'd like to follow me more in this board game journey, please do subscribe to the channel, say hi, feel free to ask questions, and it'd be lovely to have you around. Thank you very much, and I hope to see you soon.